Alright, welcome to the BKCPL Week 1 GSC recap. First off, this is going to be similar to the black and white recap. We have Esrock and Jester. What we're going to see here is Jester is going to be running a Blissey stall team. And Esrock is going to make a pivotal mistake at this turn, losing their Cloister and essentially the game. Because you don't have spikes anymore against a pretty brutal stall team, and things are just going to collapse from there. Blissey is shortly revealed. Jester has his spikes up, and just Blissey comes in. It's even a light screen Blissey. There is a golem to remove spikes, but how are you toxicking the Cloister without your Cloister to toxic it? And things in short order just fell apart for S-Rock. Spikes were continually laid down. Blissey staved off the Zapdos. And, yeah, you have Jinx Gengar, which can maybe do something with Ice Punch, Freezes, and Dynamic Punch shenanigans, but D-Punch does not hit. It just didn't hit. And the Cloister got to stay healthy. The Skarmory gets to wall the Lax. It's just, yeah. Just get some chip on the Gengar. Not too worried, because you can just rest that up later. Sure, the Lax dies, but you have a Blissey to everlastingly stall the Zapdos, and it's a Surflax on the opposing side, so it's over. Because what are you doing against Gengar? The EQ on the Gengar is cute. That crit does not matter, by the way. It always kills. But you still have just Blissey and Skarmory. Blissey walls the Jinx and the Zapdos forever. Because it's parried. Because Jinx can't lovely kiss it because it's parried. And then you always switch Skarm into Lax and Golem, and it's over because you have no spikes. So double switching infinitely only hurts you, and you can never toxic the Cloister. You can always get spikes up again, and you're not going to PP stall those spikes. You're going to run out of other moves first. And it just ended essentially on turn 5 when Cloister got killed by T-Bolt. And yeah, you could finish it out, but it's just, you're never getting anywhere against this. There's just so much power points on Jester's side, like Blissey's light screen alone. So S-Rock loses to Jester. Next up we have OMBR Arch against Nail, and Nail early game is going to constantly call out Jester. Just spiking in Jinx's face, taking an Ice Beam, not respecting Psychic, absorbing successfully with Coup, the Lovely Kiss. Sure, you get thieved. Missing Thunder is annoying. And Ice Beam crit is very problematic. This Jinx gets quite rather lucky this game. Well, Ice Beams in general get kind of lucky this game. And we're going to see a crit and then almost a kill on this Cloister. Nail is just calling out OMB Arch with going to Licks and absorbing the boom. And yeah, that's a lot of the story of this early game, is that Nail is just constantly ahead. See booming, taking out the Zapdos with a low health Raikou that may or may not wake up anytime soon. That is a very reasonable play. Sends in their own Jinx. Just click sub, which is probably it's a safe move against opposing Jinx, unless they have Thief, of course, which can break it, which is the strongest move against it. And OMB Arch has it, but they end up lovely kissing the Lax because the opposing Jinx didn't want to get stayed and lovely kissed because Raikou is currently has absorbed sleep from this Jinx, but this Jinx down here, up here, has LK pressure. Now this Lax is going to, it's a mono Lax, so it gets curse up a bit, but we're going to see Cloister come in on a double edge, if I recall. It barely lives, and OMB Arch is going to say, okay, well, you're booming on me, of course. And Nail reveals it's a Screech Cloy. And just sacks it because it's not lefties. It was Miracle Berry the whole time. Which makes sense when you're leading Cloy. A lot of them are Miracle Berry, and then Jinx comes in and it's just scary. Psychics into Lax does not get the drop, but we see a Hera cross, which kind of just, if it Mega Horns Jinx, it wins. That's, yeah, like Gengar doesn't break Hera ever, and it just curses it. It can win the 1v1 against Lax. It can just do that because it's Heracross. It's nuts. So we're gonna see them flailing at each other for a while until Nail is gonna get out of the way, go to his Jinx, and start threatening again. And the Hera comes in, the Gar comes in, just rest up, like a Mega Horn crit and whatnot. Get some curses under their belt. Just resting a lot, chips down the Gar, and the Gar gets a well-timed boom that does kill the Hera, which matters. And then we see Lax on Jinx with OMB Arches, last, not revealed. Now, the tables have turned. With Hera down, with that boom killing Hera, everything is different. The Raikou just dies to Jinx. The Lax can get frozen. And the opposing Jinx loses the 1v1 because this Jinx has Thief. So now OMB Arch has a chance to just hacks out of the game, like hacks his way back. And I don't like the Psychic. That turn, it should always be Ice Beam, because if he's staying in, you need 2 chances to freeze, but he gets the first chance to freeze. The first Ice Beam freeze, he clicks. So that's kind of sucky for Nail. Just Ice Beams away. We're going to see a sub, which I don't understand why you don't Thief there, because Thief does objectively more damage than Ice Beam. I guess it works. Actually, no, the Ice Beam's fine there, because if you're expecting, it just means they can't go to Raikou on your Thief predict, and then Sleep Talk Rest, and then you just probably, but you probably just win now, because Lax clicks Double Edge. So, yeah, Lax getting frozen here just kind of ends the game for Nail, because then it can rest up. Otherwise, it would just rest up, and Nail's in so much better position. So that one turn Ice Beam freeze really makes a difference, and Nail's Jinx isn't able to do the same isn't able to take out OMB Arch's Lax, and it does get a Justice Freeze, but it's not comparable at all, because, well, you'll see what OMB Arch's last is, because Nael's Lax is so low that it isn't comparable. You do get a chance to break and kill this Lax and get a lot of healing here, and you are able to kill it, but he reveals Zam, which OHKOs Raikou from that low and kills the frozen Lax. And that is where you need to freeze. So it would end up being a Lax on Lax if no freezes, and then a Zam in back. But as it is, Zam just kind of won for OMB Arch after getting the freeze. It was much more an any man's game if the first freeze never happened. So Nael loses this game to the Zam in back. Yeah, this team really doesn't like opposing Lax, so freezing it is a big deal. Now, next up is this one. So, yeah. This is Melancholy versus Keeping It Icy. This is not the turn I wanted to start the recap on, but it is fine. We're going to see some standard plays, just curse in its face, and then it LKs. Now then, LK Lax does a lot of cool things. Can just double edge here, and now if it's the more likely set of curse EQ, it can just EQ this tar into oblivion. Dynamic punch. No. Misses again, like all dynamic punches should. EQ into the Tahian treat. And just watching this makes me very happy, to see this Lax go to town, because I helped Melancholy prep this. I helped him with his early game Lax lines, because that's what we practiced. Now Zap into Eggy. This is really unfortunate because of the para. Twice. But Keeping It Icy decides to get out of there and go on to pressure with their Snorlax. So Chloe is going to get up spikes here. And it shows Thunder, which would have probably killed the Chloe. So Zap comes in, and Melancholy just launches a boom out there, saying, "You're not going to be able to ruin my spikes. If I can boom on this Lax getting greedy, that's insane. If I can and then catches a Zapdos, which is quite valuable, because there's a Machamp on this side." The Zapdos would blank another Stun Spore. I've only watched the end of this game, but I know the prep work that went into it. And there's a very specific thing that people were talking about. Actually, it's one of the reasons why someone was predicting against Melancholy, is because he brought that very specific set. Solely on the merits of they don't like that set, they predicted against Melancholy for week 2. So Steelix just roaring around. Having a Slept Cloister is so wonderful here, because if roaring it in means you're good. You're chill. Now Zap on Egg again. Really doesn't want the Egg to tape that chip, and Melancholy calls him out for going to Lax with a Thunder. Now we're going to go a little faster here. Switches into a Double Edge with Machamp, and Gengar pops in to say hello on the Cross Chop. Lix comes in, and it's Fire Punch Gengar. Fire Punch Gengar. And just goes to Lax. This Lax is still really healthy. Respecting the possibility of a Boom or a Sleep Powder. Just going to Thunder into it. Trying not to let opposing Lax get in. And just going to rest it off. Okay, now we're going to be skipping ahead a bit. These 1v1s are fine. Zapdos can take out the Tar. Just can do it with another HP. And Lax gets in and gets able to rest here. Goes to Machamp. And now we're going to see Light Screen Machamp. Light Screen Machamp. This thing beats Zapdos. Like, surprisingly often in the 1v1. It's so annoying to play against. Of course, you lose out on EQ, meaning this Gar is going to be really annoying. But Rock Slide isn't that bad. And D-Punch is doing, like, no damage. And the Light Screen support means Zapdos is taking, like, nothing from Ice Punch. But Fire Punch crit really sucks here. Like, that actually sucks. But you're seeing how little his Machamp is taking from fire, like, from essentially getting your Ice Punches. And that's what I wanted to show off this game, is that it is a Light Screen Machamp. So anyhow, Lix is gonna come in. Wait, how did he kill the Gengar? Alright, he EQ'd it. Yeah. This Lax is putting in work. The opposing Lax comes in. Does Melancholy boom here? Actually, well, this is a recap. I should go ahead a little more. Does boom. Does 85 to the Lax. Now we see Vaporeon, which has a lot of synergy with the Light Screen on the Machamp. But this team, we specifically said, it's a little sketch into Eggy. And he played into an Eggy, and he's dominating. So I'm very happy with this result. And Surf just clean it up. Yeah. So. Here's a lot of vape jokes. Now, anyhow, this one. This is the one that got the most discussion out of every single game of GSC played so far. There was so much talk about BOS versus Liquid Assets. It's BOS versus what's their bucket. Anyhow, this is an alt. B and let's just say let's just say that, yes, the screen went dark for a reason. BOS is playing against Agent Caval. That's who it was. Yeah, so there was a lot of talk in this about this game because of the first 15 turns. So we're going to watch all of them. Forion Lax, there was no talk about that turn. Now, Fori does not elect to scout if it's a Flame Lax. B got lambasted for that in the chat. Because these types of teams, when you see Raikou Fori like this, it's gonna be Raikou stall. Q-stall stuff. And if you don't have spikes on Q-stall, what are you doing? Like, if you lose your Fori just like instantly or take too much damage on it immediately, you have an incredibly tough game ahead of you. So B was lambasted for not checking for Fire move on Lax, but gets away with it because who runs Fire move on Lax in the leaf slot? Not many people. So, Golem spins, and then Caval got lambasted for this turn. Because you let your Golem get poisoned against Q-stall. Like, what are you doing? You're conceding the Spike War. Like, what? Fori's just gonna stay in and lay in spikes, or you could have taken 1,000,000 damage from Giga Drain. Like, the spikes come up again, and then a me comes in to scare out the Golem, but like, your Golem's poisoned. Your Golem is poisoned against Q-stall. Gonna get your spikes up again, because you know the Lax isn't gonna flame here. Or he's been disciplined to hold it until you're in fire flamethrower range, which is nice. So Golem just spins here, taking damage, and just B gets the spikes up again. Okay. And now you're saying, oh, Dance of Hearts, yada, yada, yada. Why were the first 15 turns so not controversial, so criticized? Well, we're about to see, because on turn 9, everything's recontextualized. The Golem had Fire Blast the whole time! You should just launch that at the Fori. His Fire Blast timing, like, you launch that on the turn, the Fori stays in to Toxic you, and you incinerate that Fori. Like, what? Huh? Like, I don't even understand. Like, calc. Okay, Pokemon damage calculator. We're gonna just show you how crazy this is. Golem versus Fori. Look at Golem's 55 special attack. Fire Blast. It's a guaranteed OHKO. It just kills. It kills. And you could just win. It's just, yeah. And now your Golem is going to take 1,000,000 bits of chip damage. You may as well boom here, honestly. Like, just, Umbreon. You click boom and you hope you kill the Umbreon. Because, actually, no, you do kill it. Because you're never going to keep spikes up against the Fori anymore. Because you're poisoned. So what you should have done is boomed predicting pursuit, or like I guess you switch there. Like either one's fine, or just it's fine. But like that turn, you needed to make the call of boom, and then maybe your Lax can make progress against, or maybe your team can make progress against Skarmory. Well, because it's just like you're getting nothing out of your Golem. You need it. Well, Charm on your boom would be brutal, so switching out is fine. But I think that is a fine. For Charm is probably marginally better for Umbreon to click, because you know the Golem will die eventually. So I do think switching is actually fine there. But if you can make the call and boom and you just kill the Umbreon, that's as much value as your Golem will ever get this game. And then it's a sub me, which it's sub broken by pursuit. And then it switches out. So, like, what's going on here? 15 turns in, and it's just in shambles. Like, What was that sub me play? Why would you send it in? Like, why would you send it into an Umbreon to sub and then switch out of Umbreon? I don't understand. I was very confused when I watched this. So, after this, B starts playing very well. Lovely Kiss on the Umbreon is kind of big because that means Lax can actually break through. But if you had killed the Umbreon with a correct boom call and then you LK'd the Skarmory, maybe Lax could actually, and then you go to Zapdos, then you go into Lax and you get curses up, and then maybe you can break the Skarmory down. That could be really big. That could be a route to progress. But no. Anyhow, B is going to play, and it's also HP Ghost or Bug, which is like, this is brutal. This is just brutal, and lands the Toxic, and it's just like, it's, and just get spikes up. Now you of course switch out of here, you go to the me, but like, it's just B plays clean for the rest of the game. See, this Lax could have maybe broken through the Skarmory if it had LK'd it, because just yeah, I don't know what to say about these first few turns, like the first 15 turns. The first 15 turns were basically Keval conceding the game. Pursuit crit is nice, but just recover on Pursuit. Now you 2 KO with Surf. There's no spikes on either side. Spikes come up, but then you let your Cloyster die, so you didn't get your Cloy's boom off. You're not getting your Golem's boom off because it switches in next time and dies unless you're a Starmie spin, but I'm pretty sure it is Nightmare Starmie, but Nightmare Starmie with that has Toxic on it is awful. That's so bad. So B plays cleanly. Like, you have a full health Snorlax. I don't know why you ever hidden power there. I don't know. You don't even need to save Thunder PP. But yeah, basically, I mean, maybe Thunder, maybe hidden power to it KOs Raikou. From there, now you get Tar on this. This could be big if you Pursuit or EQ on the right turn, but you just roar. I don't get roaring. I get roaring there, but if you're predicting a switch, you click Pursuit, and then maybe your Zapdos can do something. But like, it's just B's playing fine, either middle to good the entire rest of this game, and you don't have the tools to win anymore because in the first 15 turns, things did not go your way. Even with Thunder Crit, you don't make it. Like, you get burned by Flamethrower, which really didn't matter. They know 4A walls, your Lax. Skarm can wake on you and just whirlwinds you. And yeah, B plays just fine. They're not even Moonlight, so you can't even PP stall. Like, you can't even just keep hitting the Umbreon to make it run out of recovery. And it's just been over for such a long time that this game has been a formality. Yeah, so those first 15 turns just leave me shocked. B's real misplay was not scouting for fire move on the Lax. Keval's misplay was not fire moving the Fori with their Golem. Instead, they got Toxic. And they lost. They just lost. Like, right there. They just lose, basically. So, yeah. Oh, that was GSC this week. Kind of a conundrum. Like, it was just something else. The highlight for me absolutely has to be seeing Espeon. We saw an Espeon, right? He was in this game that I removed. Yeah, seeing an Espeon, or maybe it was a different one. If we saw an Espeon, then it was my highlight. If not, it was the Light Screen Machamp, because I love Light Screen Machamp as an idea. If it doesn't run into Eggy Nidoking. Of course, it ran into Eggy which is Garfield. It's awful, but, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Like, have a Draco Meteor pop up. Have a Kevin picture. Have an animation that's kind of cool. That's just the way things fly sometimes. Regardless, there was a lot of clean play and a lot of not clean play in this week. So I really hope some of the minor, like the really small things, get cleaned up. Like when there were 2 chances to Ice Beam Freeze Relax, and only one of them was an Ice Beam, the other one was a Psychic. I think like the little minor stuff like that, I'd love to see doing a little better with. And I'd love to see a little more concise early game sequences. I actually know that I redact my former statements. My highlight was seeing the Zapdoses constantly doubling in on Cloyster over and over and over. That was lovely to see. That was what I like to see.